In the gritty heart of Surulere, two sisters lived under the same roof, but on opposite paths. Nkem, 27, was forged in fire. Life hadn't handed her much, so she built everything with calloused hands and unwavering will. She taught children during the day and catered food at night, coming home with the smell of smoke in her hair and flour dust on her skin.
She didn't complain. She didn't party.
She simply worked, because no one else would. Her younger sister, Chisholm, 23, was a different song entirely, sweet melody and sugar coating. Chisholm was the kind of beautiful that made men lose sense and women grow suspicious. She lived for the camera, for brunches, for compliments, and especially for the kind of men who saw her not as a person, but a prize. Work is for ugly girls, she would joke while applying her foundation, her reflection flawless in the cracked mirror they shared. If God gave me beauty, why shouldn't I use it? Nkem, on the floor, was counting coins into an old plastic jar labeled Rent and Dreams. Chisholm walked past her, snickering. This your piggy bank life tire me. You go suffer tire. Better than depending on men who see you as a weekend investment. Nkem replied, her voice cool. Chisholm laughed as if Nkem had just told a joke. You'll understand the soft life one day, when you stop carrying Legos on your head. Nkem didn't bother to answer. She was used to it. The mockery, the eye rolls, the 3 a.m. tiptoeing when Chisholm came home in perfume clouds and giggles. They had grown up poor, but while Nkem wore that memory like armor, Chisholm wore hers like shame she couldn't wash off fast enough. And then came Chief Amiti. It started innocently enough, or so Chisholm thought. A yacht party in Banana Island. A friend of a friend invited her. She borrowed a dress, glued on lashes, and stepped into the world she always dreamed of. That night, under glittering lights and soft Afrobeats, she met him. Chief Amiti was in his late 50s, a man of silk baghdadis and quiet menace. He was married, wealthy, connected, and had an eye for girls like Chisholm, girls who needed saving but didn't know from what. Look at you, he said, brushing a lock of hair from her face. Like a rose blooming in the desert. Who waters you? She laughed. No one yet. He smiled. Then allow me. And just like that, the door opened. Within weeks, her life changed. Chief sent drivers to pick her up. He paid for a service department in Lekki. He wired money, first 300,000 Nigerian nairas, then 500,000 Nigerian nairas, then a cool million just because. He bought her an iPhone, paid for her body sculpting procedure, and promised her more. You're not like the others, he would whisper against her ear. You're my escape. Every time he left her glowing. And every time she returned home to Surulere, it was only to pick up more clothes or mock Nkem's slow, grinding lifestyle. You're still hustling for 5,000 Nigerian nairas transfers while I'm out here collecting Lexus keys, she said one day, lounging across the couch. You need to level up, sis. Nkem stood quietly, wiping her hands on a dish towel. You think you're on top of the world, but you're playing a game you don't even know the rules to. Oh, please. Chisholm rolled her eyes. You just don't get it. You think suffering makes you holy. No, Nkem said slowly. It makes me aware. Chisholm laughed like that was the funniest thing she'd ever heard. But money doesn't insulate you from consequences. And men like Chief, who are used to owning everything, don't like being challenged. Especially not by women they buy. Chisholm learned this the hard way. It started when Chief's wife found out. She showed up unannounced at the Lekki apartment, dressed in all white, lips trembling, her rage as quiet as it was terrifying. She didn't scream. She didn't slap. She simply said, "End it." Chisholm had laughed, mocking her age, her tears, her desperation. I'm the one he calls every night, Chisholm said, leaning against the doorframe. Go and fix your broken home. The wife left without another word. And for 2 whole days, nothing happened. Chisholm thought she'd won. But on the third day, Chief called. "Pack a bag," he said. "We're going to Ghana." She smiled.
Victory.
Until she got in the car. She never made it to Ghana. What happened next was a blur of terror. She was taken to a secluded guest house outside Lagos, stripped of her phone, slapped for speaking,
Tied. Gagged.
and beaten until she bled from places she didn't know could bleed. He said I embarrassed him, she whispered weeks later, lying in a hospital bed, bruises blossoming across her face. He said if I can't be his secret, I'll be nothing. They dumped her by the hospital gates like expired meat. Nkem was called at dawn. She arrived and nearly collapsed. Chisholm's face, once her glory, was now her grave. She had wires in her arms, stitches on her chin, bruises across her back. The doctors said if she had arrived an hour later, she would have died. For days, Nkem refused to leave her side. She slept on the floor. She sold half her catering equipment to cover the bills. She told no one what really happened, because love protects, even when it's tired, even when it's unacknowledged.
Chisholm survived.
Barely. When she awoke, tears filled her eyes before words did. "You are right," she whispered. "They never loved me. I was a thing, a body." Nkem took her hand. "You were never a thing to me. I laughed at your jar of coins, and I still save them for you," Nkem replied softly. 6 months later, the girl who once flaunted filters and facades stood before a group of teenage girls at a local shelter, sharing her story. "I thought I was being smart. I thought I was winning. But I was just a game piece. And when they were done, they broke me. But I'm still here. And I want better for all of you." Her voice cracked, but her eyes didn't flinch. Years later, Nkem expanded her business. A training center for women who had nowhere else to go. Chisholm became her right hand. They built an empire out of broken bricks. One afternoon, Chisholm found the jar labeled Rent and Dreams at the back of their office. She held it almost reverently. "I used to laugh at this," she said. "You did," Nkem smiled. "But now I know it wasn't coins you were counting. It was hope."